So Michelle, yeah, as parents, yeah, once again, this is gonna be about education, yeah. You see, cause I like to talk about education sometimes to just compare the times. Like obviously, like we said, times move on, yeah. So going back in your time when you was in school or when you was in education, compared to the way things are now, do you see what is the biggest change that you have seen with education, if there's any? Like, do you see any change in the, just the education system in general?
Dramatically.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Like, what's the biggest change that you've
Well,
seen?
back in my day, we never had computers like how they have computers now. So the IT, artificial intelligence, was not what it is today.
Word.
I mean, there's so much. I mean, literally, you know, the artificial intelligence, the things that they do, like they can work it for good, they can work it for bad, they can work it for you know, like for God's glory, or they can work it for evil, just pure evil. And unfortunately, I think that is the way of the world, the way I artificial intelligence is going. And like, but just to, sorry, because I always end up going off on a tangent and down a rabbit hole, but like just to bring it back to your question, like in terms of the changes in school and stuff, like
education,
like the sexual education is not the same, because now they're promoting the same thing about transgender, homosexuality, you know, like they're giving kids condoms and all the rest of it and stuff like that. Like that was just not going on in my day at school.
Even a quick touch on sex education. How was sex education back in your days? Like,
to be fair, I mean, it's not a bad thing that people have sexual awareness, like about sexually, you know, like transmitted infections and all of that. Like, there's nothing wrong with learning all about these things, but because remember, you have to be mindful, I went to a Catholic school, and back in the day, you know, the Catholic Church was very opposed to like anything like abortion or anything like, you know, so in terms of a sexual education, like we really didn't get one too much. Like we did in science, but in science, do you see what? You
guys used to get sex education back in science.
Yeah, but like I'm 52 years old, like, you know, like you're talking about when I was like 14, 15, like that's like 1980 odd.
How old was I?
You wouldn't have even been born, I don't think, right? So
So you definitely,
obviously, those are the main differences, like the IT situation,
the technology in general. Would you say the technology in general? Yeah, the sex education. Yeah. What about the
also like Black History and things like this? Like we never had all Black History Month and all of them sort of things. Like these things like have only been like introduced in latter day time. Like maybe my son who's 18, his sort of schooling days. Do you know what I mean? Maybe even in yours a little bit.
Early night. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, when I was in school, basically. Yeah.
Did you get Black History education?
The only thing we never got nothing. The only thing that we got in regards to Black History was you know, whenever there used to be Black History Month.
Yeah.
But I only used to do it because it's Black History Month. Even when you leave school, you can't get away from it. It's Black History Month.
But so I think it's more prevalent, sort of like in my son's time. You know, like in modernity, modern, you know, like modern day times, modernity, right? You know, like you now see that the children are getting a different history lessons. Like when we was at school, we'd be learning about you know, like Henry the 8th,
the Matilda days. You see, maybe that's what we was learning about.
Yeah, like just, you know,
how many wives Henry the 8th had.
Yeah, the English Civil War and things like that, which is not a bad thing to know, but like who needs to know about Henry the 8th's 8 wives and whatnot. But yes, it is a part of history. So it was a very secular sort of singular like mindset, you know, like, so in that sense, like the education system has broadened its scope in terms of what it's teaching, but not all that is new is good. Right?
I'm with you. Oh, I like that. I like that.
Not all that is new is good, right? Like sometimes I think the old school is you know, is the flavour of the old school is not a bad thing in terms of
absolutely.
Yeah, like the education.
Would you say and that's interesting one, and I'm sure you're gonna like this one. Would you say, Michelle, that you see back in the days you used to get beats at school?
There were. I think there was that.
Did you ever get beaten at school?
No, but I think I might have just escaped it, like in terms of the time frame, like in the chronologically speaking.
Yeah.
But actually saying that,
I
think when I was at secondary school, I think I'm not 100% sure because I never got it, but I'm sure they still used to do the ruler on the back of the hand.
The ruler, Yeah.
Like, I'm sure that was still prevalent in my school days,
actually crazy.
my secondary school days. Yeah. So like, obviously that, you know, that would become like a social services issue nowadays. You know, like that would definitely never happen, you know, in today's school, and rightly so. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't believe in corporal punishment like that. I mean, I don't mind disciplining, you know, but corporal punishment was a different story. You know what I mean? I think that was a little bit harsh. Nothing wrong with disciplining a child, but there's ways to discipline a child, and
That's
it don't
the key.
necessarily need to be beating.
Beating them, because because you know, like fully well, like I know, like there's certain kids who you might beat, but they might end up rebelling, and they might end up turning out to be.
And I still rebelled.
You know what I mean? Like, we was beat, we still did whatever we had to do. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
honestly, even like taking it back to religion, yeah, like I see people who represent, aka rep their religion, and they literally say to themselves, look, besides this religion, my religion, there's no other religion that exists. Any other religion is full of beep. Like, what do you think?
I agree with that.
Talk to me.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, talk to me. This is your stage. Talk to me. Do you really think that besides your religion, there's nothing? All of the other religions,
like, there's only one way to the Father.
Talk to the people.
So that must mean that is right then, what you're saying.
Yeah,
that every other way is the wrong way. So, you know, that's right. That's the truth. I know you was asking it as a question, but I'm saying it as I take it as a statement of fact. You know, because there's only one way.
Yeah.
Jesus said that.
But there'll be people here looking at you thinking,
no, I know that.
Wow,
I know. Because they don't know what Jesus said. They don't know what he come to do.
That's what I want you to tell these people.
You know, they don't know that he's actually God. Like, they think he's just a man. Do you see what I mean? So that's what their understanding possibly is of Jesus. But he was fully man and fully divine. That's what people need to realize. Like, he was God who came off his throne, of his heavenly throne, came to earth in the flesh and walked amongst us. He was the Word made flesh, as the book of John tells us, right? So that's what people have to remember. As he is fully divine, fully man.
Fully man. So you absolutely feel like there's no other religion apart from this religion?
I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Yeah.
No man comes to the Father but by me. That's Jesus' words.
And don't you, like, in general, like, because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes, because again, remember, this is what me and you, like, even off camera, we have some beautiful conversations, open conversations with a balance. Because for me, I feel like this is actually true. But again, I'd like to get your opinion on this. Don't you feel like sometimes religion is just sometimes there to control people?
Yes, it's been used for that very reason. Like the Catholic Church, you know, like definitely.
Yeah.
Over the years, if you look back in history, the Catholic churches have done some disgraceful things. And not only just the Catholic Church, you know, like Muslims against Hindus and all of that, you know. It's just been so much like warring, you know.
Can you imagine?
Really? So much blood shed.
Control and divide and conquer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because like I think I told you before, that's going back a good few years back, that's one of the things that kind of made me question religion before, because I was thinking...
Yeah, I think for a lot of people...
What is this like? These people are bombing these people doing that, these people doing that. What is really right?
Yeah, because everybody's holding fast to their own religion, their own doctrines, their own...
And then you see the pros and the cons of what they believe and what they think. And then you just think to yourself, so who's right and who's wrong? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I get it.
Even talking about the areas, let's go a little bit back again. The areas that we live in, yeah? You know what I haven't spoke about this conversation with you. One of my favourite conversations to speak about is gentrification.
Right.
I find it very interesting as a person who've lived in these areas, these effed up areas, and slowly seen the change, right? We've seen the change.
Yes.
And a lot of people, they lean more towards like, nah, gentrification is not good. Obviously, they're forcing us out of the areas outside of London. Stay with me, Michelle, yeah? For me, and even I've had, not arguments, but I call it passionate conversation with other people. I think gentrification in a certain way is good for the community. And what I mean by that is like, you know, like a lot of people keep on saying, oh, our area, look, we've got crackheads. Our area, like, it looks run down. It looks like, you know, our areas, like, there's a lot of places here, old houses. Basically, the area, the hood looks like it's run down. Yeah, it doesn't look good. You know what I mean? So for me, mentally, if you have an area where it's like, again, we can agree to disagree, right? From me, the way I look at it, I get the business side, them building, them, the people building clusters and all of these people for people to come in the areas and, you know what I'm saying, to up the price. I get all of that business-wise. But in general, I'm talking about in general, mentally, yeah, as a person, yeah, if you stay in shit, yeah, stay, again, excuse my, sorry, seriously, because sometimes I do, but I don't swear that much, yeah? But honestly, because I try